It is what it is. In his famous Serenity Prayer, Reinhold Niebuhr prayed, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Living one day at a time, enjoying one moment at a time, accepting hardships as the pathway to peace, taking, as he did, the sinful world as it is, not as I would have it, trusting that he will make all things right if I surrender to his will, that I may be reasonably happy in this life and supremely happy with him forever in the next. What a wonderful prayer. The essence of Niebuhr's prayer is very simple. Some of the things we encounter in life are not going to change. Therefore, we must change. I'm reminded of a story I heard some years ago that illustrates my point. The U.S. Navy was engaged in night maneuvers. The lookout on a destroyer spied a light on the horizon. They were on a collision course. The lookout notified the captain. The captain came to the bridge and assessed the situation. He gave the command for the radio officer to contact the oncoming light and instruct it to change course 10 degrees to the south. The response came back, negative, you change course 10 degrees north. Agitated, the captain grabbed the microphone and asked the rank of the person on the other end of the radio. The reply came back, I am a corporal. The captain then said, well, I'm a captain, and I'm ordering you to change your course 10 degrees south. The response came back, negative, you change your course 10 degrees north. Infuriated, the captain barked into the microphone, you don't understand, son. I'm the captain of a destroyer, and if we hit you, it will destroy you. The voice replied, negative, you don't understand. I'm a lighthouse tender. Needless to say, when the captain made the proper assessment of precisely what he was up against, he changed his course. The first step toward change is correctly identifying the person, situation, circumstance, or thing in our life that we want to change. Sometimes, as with the captain, we see things in life for everything except what they really are. We do this because we view life through the filters of our own prejudice. Consequently, we tend to see things as we think they should be or as we desire them to be instead of how they really are. We would save ourselves a whole lot of grief and heartache if we could just learn to compartmentalize some things in our lives, accept that the situation is what it is, and unless God changes it, it ain't gonna change, and just deal with it. In a strange sort of way, Jesus teaches this principle in John 12:8. Judas questioned him as to why the costly ointment Mary used to anoint his feet was not sold and the money used to help the poor. Jesus told him, for the poor always you have with you, but me ye have not always. And that's from the King James Version. What was Jesus telling him? He was telling him that poverty would never go away. It would always be there. And at any time Judas desired to do so, he could do something to help the poor. However, Judas's time with Jesus was limited, and he needed to compartmentalize that which he could not change and prioritize his time with Jesus. Now, does this mean that Jesus was somehow diminishing Judas's responsibility toward the poor? Absolutely not. But it does mean that he was teaching him to prioritize his relationship with him. Judas was in danger of allowing the ministry, as noble and worthy as it was, to become more important than his relationship with Jesus. And boy, we need to hear that today. Let me repeat that. Judas was in danger of allowing the ministry, as noble and worthy as it was, to become more important than his relationship with Jesus. You see, ministry that pleases God flows out of a right relationship with God. Remember the parable of the Pharisee and the publican? The Pharisee did the right things, ministry, but these things were more important to him than his relationship with the one for whom he did them. The absence of a correct personal relationship with God negated everything he did. I wonder how much change could be affected in the world in 2025 if we stopped focusing our energy on trying to change everything we cannot change and begin to focus it on changing the one thing we can change, ourselves. Judas could not eradicate hunger. However, through a right relationship with Jesus, he could have presented the bread of life to the world. And indeed, as God provided him the means to do so, he could have fed those he encountered along the way. Like Judas, I cannot single-handedly eradicate all of life's major problems. I cannot solve the world's financial crisis, but I can be a good steward of the financial blessings God provides me. I cannot solve the divorce epidemic that now stands at 50%, but I can love my wife. I cannot tell the whole world about Jesus Christ, but I can tell the person who waits my table at the restaurant, the clerk behind the counter, my coworker, and my family about Jesus. I cannot solve alcohol, drug, pornography, and other addiction problems that are tearing apart the very fabric of society today. But I can walk humbly and soberly before my God. I cannot rescue all the sexually and physically abused children in the world, but I can model godly love before my babies, grandbabies, and great-grands in such a way that they know for a fact that Daddy, Paul, loves them unconditionally. I cannot silence the many cults in the world today, but I can speak up for true Christianity. I cannot stop the hatred displayed by those bent on destroying all who disagree with their worldview, but I can learn to love people without loving their philosophy or lifestyle. The truth is, there are many things in life that I cannot change, but you know what? God will not hold me responsible for the things I cannot change, only those things I can. There are many things I must look at and say, it is what it is. I cannot focus my energy on trying to change it. I must focus my energy on identifying and changing the aspects of life that I can change. And most of the time, the thing that needs changing most is not a thing at all. It is me. The greatest need this world has in 2025 is for me to become a better me and for you to become a better you. And when I become a better me and you become a better you, the world will become a better place. Some laws that Congress enacts, some new social programs, or some super-duper cataclysmic events will not change this world. If this world is to change, it will change the way it has always been changed. One person, one life, and one family at a time. I do not share it often, but my life mission statement says, God has placed me here to passionately and consistently reflect the character of Christ through every role and season of my life. This means that sometimes I must look at people and circumstances in my life and say, you know what? It is what it is. And I must accept, and unless God changes it, it ain't going to change. And I must deal with it. Then I must remember that my life mission is not to change everything and everybody. It is simply to passionately and consistently reflect the character of Christ through every role and season of my life. Roles change, seasons change, people change. The mission remains the same. I wonder if I'm preaching to anybody today other than myself. Lord, as Reinhold Niebuhr prayed, would you grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you, Jesus, for loving us. In your name, amen.